Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. Today is the day before New Year's Eve, so New Year's Eve, I guess. Today I have a review for a movie my wife, who is currently sick. It's not COVID, but it's some kind of cold or something she can't shake. She wanted to just kind of curl up and watch a movie last night after I finished playing Saints Row 2022's reboot, which I just did a review on, by the way, last night. And pretty late last night, we decided to kind of cap off the night with watching a movie that she apparently, in the middle of the movie, told me this. Apparently, it is her kind of realization that it might be her personal favorite movie. And I kind of understand that. I have movies that are kind of lower budget or whatever that are some of my favorites, like the original Stephen King's The Stand adaptation, which is my favorite version of that story. So I get where she's coming from. When we were kids, of course, Hilary Duff was a massive celebrity when it came to Disney Channel, when it came to when she was doing her own music. We both still have CDs of hers from way back in the day. I think she had one CD that was my favorite called, like, Most Wanted or something. Anyway, back in the day, she used to do a show called Lizzie McGuire that Disney was going to bring back for Disney Plus, and somehow that fell through. I don't know why. I assume it's quote-unquote creative differences. I'll let that hang there, because I don't know what could have been the propaganda Disney wanted to put into that shit. But anyway, Hilary Duff did a movie for the Lizzie McGuire show. I don't know if this kind of capped it off and finished it or what, but it's called the Lizzie McGuire movie. And I remember seeing this way back in the day, not in theaters, though. I don't think my parents would have taken me to see this, because it's kind of like a TV movie, if you will, for the budget. I'm fairly certain this was in theaters, though, because it looks like a lower budget theatrical release. It doesn't look like it went straight to DVD, or not DVD, but Disney Channel, like a Disney Channel original, that kind of thing. It doesn't look like that sort of situation, but it does look like a lower budget film. Apparently it was made for like $12 million, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I'll tell you this, though. I still really enjoyed the movie. I saw this a few years back with my wife when we first bought the DVD, because she saw it at Walmart for like $5, and she was like, I have to have this. Now, my wife is not a person who is like that. She is not like me and collects and collects and collects just to have the stuff in case digital dies. She's not paranoid like I am about that. But she did buy this, which means it meant a lot to her. I'll tell you this, I think it's a really cute movie. It's got an amazing soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is amazing to people like myself and my wife, who were born in the 90s, because the music here is kind of pop culture-esh for that time. But it worked. It worked fine. Basically, in this story, in case you don't know what the Lizzie McGuire show is, it's usually just Hilary Duff going on little escapades in middle school. And I don't know if there was ever a high school show. I think this was the end of the show. I could be wrong, though. Anyway, she and her class, after they graduate middle school, are going to go on kind of a trip to Rome for the first time in her life, and the first time in most of their class life, if not the whole class. And while they're there, Hilary Duff, Lizzie McGuire, happens to start to fall in love with this celebrity there called Paolo. Or Paolo? I think it's Paolo. I'm not good with names. Just in general, but it's Paolo, I believe is the pronunciation of it. But as she starts to see him, she also starts to get compared to another celebrity that is his singing partner by people in that, local area. His singing partner is named Isabella, who is also played by Hilary Duff in a brownish, blackish wig, and I still can't tell if it's always her or not. Because sometimes it looks like her in the face, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it's Haley Duff or what. But, It sounds like a very boring premise, but there's a lot of comedy to this, just like there was with the show. This does not look like the show in the filming of it, the cinematography of it. Of course, it has a bigger budget being a movie, but it looks fine for what it is. It just feels and looks like a TV movie. But the humor is there. If you loved the Lizzie McGuire show like my wife and I did when we were kids on Disney, I think you'll like this. There's a lot of humor in here, too, also from I'm not sure if it's a teacher or a principal. It's played by Alex Borstein, I believe is the name, who plays Lois on Family Guy. And I love her. She's very, very talented. She's funny here, too. She's very quick-witted and subtle in how rude she is to some of the kids, especially Gordo, the main boy, best friend of Lizzie McGuire, that we all remember being very awkward back in the day. And now I had a little bit of a revelation, something like that, where I realized it's not just the character that's written awkwardly, it's that this poor boy can't act. That never occurred to me until I watched this movie. Um, but I will tell you, again, the music really enhances the experience here. If you like this kind of movie, this is going to be right up your alley, I think. If you like the kind of low-budget love story type stuff, this will be up your alley. It has some cool moments to it. It has some fun moments I think little girls will love a lot. Again, I was a little boy when I watched it, and I really enjoyed quite a bit of it as well. So that should tell you something about this movie. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't fucking Star Wars to me, but it was pretty cute for what it was, and I liked that. Kind of like how I liked Powerpuff Girls, for God's sake. Anyway, the Lizzie McGuire movie, I don't really have much more to say about it. The writing is okay. Hilary Duff is not a wonderful actress by any means, but she tried with that show, and she tried with this movie. I think the parents are typically pretty funny. The younger brother, Max, is in here. He's fine. You know, he's a young kid. I've seen him in other things as he's gotten older. I can't remember exactly what I've seen him in, but I've seen him for sure in some other things. I will say this. There is a best friend character from the show that's not in this movie, and I never realized that for some reason. I cannot remember her name to save my life. They mention it quite a bit in here. They say she's like off on a trip of Mexico or something, but I'm thinking in my head, like, was she into drugs? Did she just not come back? Did she not want to go European style for a trip, for filming? You know, what happened with that? I don't know. But she's not in here, which is a little bizarre. It makes a kind of a void in this movie. That you're like, you know, the best friend character that should be here is not here, and they kind of try to fill that void a little bit with Gordo and another girl, but not really. Anyway, with all that being said, the Lizzie McGuire movie, it's a Disney film from back in the day when you could still trust Disney with your kids, and it's cute. My wife wanted to watch it while she was sick. We had a really good time watching it. We laughed quite a bit watching the film, not just in like that weird nostalgia laugh. You ever had that where you watch something and it hits you because of the references in it? Like, that happens sometimes in this film. Like, when Lizzie McGuire said she bought a CD of this Isabella chick. I'm like, yeah, that's long, long dead. 2003, man. This movie is going to be 20 years old this coming year. 20 years old. The Lizzie McGuire movie. Can you believe that shit? Man, oh man. Anyway, have you seen the Lizzie McGuire film or the show? Do you love these things? Do you hate them? I'd love to hear all your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. I'm thankful my wife has finally realized what her favorite movie is. It makes a lot of sense because she's referenced this for like the last 7 years of her life. Every time she talks about a movie that she truly loves. Even though this is more of a kid's film, it's still really good. It's good for what it is. It's not like a life existential discussion or philosophy or anything, but it doesn't need to be. It's cute and it's well made for what it is at that time in 2003. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Happy New Year when that comes up. And goodbye.